What's up, guys? Welcome back to GoldClassGaming, and today I'm back with my YCS Pasadena Go Second ABC deck profile. And this is different than my previous Go Second builds in that I'm actually playing Shaddoll ABC, and I've cut my striker engine since Fort Worth, and I added in some Shaddoll cards. But I'll explain further as I'm going through all my cards. So without further ado, I'll hop right into the deck profile. Starting it off, you have 3 copies of A, along with 3B and 3C. Maxing out my pieces has been my standard since more or less day one of ABC. I just like drawing them too much to slow them down. And they're ABC pieces in an ABC deck. Next up, we have 3 copies of Vishuda. This card has been a staple in my Go Second builds. You guys saw it in my Fort Worth deck profile if you guys watched that. And I've kept it in ever since. I think it's just an extremely powerful card. Free summon, so you get a monster on board and get to bounce anything on the field back to the hand. Then we have 1 copy of Shaddoll Beast and 1 copy of Shaddoll Dragon. I usually like the two only really generically useful Shaddoll monsters. Beast to draw a card, and Dragon to pop your opponent's back row. Or your own, mostly just your opponent's back row. What you're using it on. I feel like 2 is a good number. I never really regretted playing. I never felt like I needed to play more than 2 Shaddoll monsters. But if I was to add more Shaddolls, I would just add more copies of Beast, honestly. Just keep drawing cards. Then for our hand traps, we have 3 copies of Ashbox and Enjoy the Spring. I think it's just a super solid hand trap. Has been forever. Hits basically every deck. And then 3 copies of Fantastical Dragon Phantasme. I added this card in just because with how much Orcust and Striker are just dominating the format. A card that just says free +1 can also stop my opponent from taking my stuff with Woodwanger, as well as Crackdown, even Mind Control. There's so many effects in the game that target my stuff. Having Phantasma to be able to negate those was actually really nice. A lot of people who would try and shotgun and impermanence on their turn, on Buster, try and force his tag out, just use Phantasma to just negate that and keep on playing. That's it for our monster lineup though. Up to our spells, we started off strong with 3 copies of Union Hanger and our 1 copy of Terraforming. 4 copies of Hanger. That's Siphon Set Rotation. That's the most we can play right now. And obviously, you want to see your hangers. Next up, we have our 3 copies of Shaddoll Fusion. This card is so sick. Getting to send one of your Shaddoll cards and you use that effect, and then milling your ABC pieces to summon Construct, or you can send Phantasme or Vishuda and summon Winda. I would send Vishuda a lot since then I get Vishuda in graveyard and then summon Land for Linkus. And then use the effect of Vishuda to banish it out of my graveyard to bounce a card in the field. It was just a really, really good card. I think I won every game where I resolved Shaddoll Fusion all weekend, just because I'd get so far ahead to where my opponents see me activate Shaddoll Fusion, with just an instant scoop. Or versus Orcust decks, I'd be able to just make El Shaddoll Winda, and that would just completely just lock out their turn. Then next up, you have 3 copies of Instant Fusion. These cards are really good. I'm playing Thousand as Restrict, so that this makes it like 3 extra copies of Mind Control, which is never a bad thing to have. And also, I can Instant Fusion Winda, and then use her. If I don't draw a Shaddoll monster and my opponent doesn't have an extra deck monster, I can Instant Fusion Winda, and then Shaddoll Fusion using Winda to make Construct, as well as one of my ABC pieces. Next up, I'm playing 3 cards of Mind Control. This card's been one of the staples in Go Second decks for a long time now. Just because a free just take one of your opponent's monsters at literally no cost to yourself, just a free take one, is just it's never a bad thing to have. It's not what's per turn, so drawing multiples is totally fine. I was playing as 1 person. And I tribute set Shaddoll Beast, and they attacked it, and it flipped face up, and I drew 2 cards, and I drew double Mind Control, and that was enough to win me the game next turn. From our last spell, we have Foolish Burial. This is to send my ABC pieces to the graveyard, send the Shooter to the graveyard, or if I really have to, I can send Shaddoll Beast or a Dragon just to trigger the effects if I want to draw a card or pop a pesky back row like a There Can Be Only One, which is something people are playing a lot of this weekend. And for our trap cards, it's the same 6 you've seen before. 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence, just an absolutely great hand trap. And then 3 copies of Evenly Matched, just the blowout go second card. If you resolve Evenly Match, your opponent basically loses instantaneously. You know, because like especially if they full comboed, if you can bait their negates and then resolve Evenly Matched, there's almost just no coming back from that. Next off, I'll go into my extra deck. I'll save side deck for last. Starting off the extra deck, we have 3 copies of ABC Dragon Buster, as is par for the course. And, you know, like this is the homie, the real big voice. This is how I'm closing out most of my games. Just the pure pressure this card applies onto the board is absolutely unreal. Then for the rest of our fusion monsters, we have 1 copy of El Shaddoll Construct, 1 copy of El Shaddoll Winda, and 1 copy of Thousand Eyes Restrict. Obviously here to just fill out my instant fusion and Shaddoll fusion and stuff, but they're all absolutely, we're all also definitely EVPs. If Buster was the MVP, most valuable player, these 3 were all the extra valuable players. Construct is really good for dealing with stuff like Boral Sword Dragon, since her effect does not target. Window was great going first. It was really good to make versus Orcus decks, and Thunder 2 actually. You just lock out their entire plays, and then just shut them down. And then Restrict, just giving me more mind controls, is never a bad thing to have. And then off to our Link monsters, we have Boral Sword Dragon. Once again, just the absolute game closer. This just runs your opponent down. Then you have Apollosa, Bow of the Goddess. This card is really good to make with IP Masquerena, which you'll see later on. The whole principle of you end with Buster and Masquerena, and then during your opponent's turn, after using Buster's Banish, you tag out all your pieces, but you tag out Buster into all your pieces, and then use Masquerena to link off with her and all 3 of your pieces to make a 4-mat Apollosa, just to get more negates, just applying more pressure on board before going into something like a Boral Sword Dragon. For our Nightmares, we have 1 copy of Nightmare Unicorn, and then Phoenix, and 1 Cerberus. Once again, just the general utility and removal that is just good to have going second. And then we have our Masquerena, like I mentioned earlier, very, very useful. Also, the protection effect is really nice. I made Boral Sword once using her, and that means the Boral Sword couldn't die by battle or card effects. It basically just made it invincible. And my opponent scooped it up not long after that, after figuring out he did not have an out to that kind of Boral Sword. Then we have Lamphorlincus, there to support my plays with Fushida, and also just something that is guaranteed to be generic. So no matter what I take with Mind Control or Restrict, no matter what I take, I will be able to make Lamphorlincus with it, because it's just purely generic. And for our last 2 Link monsters, we have Clara and Rushka, once again a staple in Go Second ABC decks, and then Monk of the Tenyi to keep on playing with our Vashuda card, with Vashuda, and keep that stuff rolling. And lastly, onto my side deck, we have 3 copies of Chaos Hunter. I opted to play this instead of Artifact Lancia because my deck did so much banishing with Evenly, Vashuda, and Buster himself. I didn't want to lock out my own banishing, and 2, I wanted a more permanent solution, just shut down Orcus entirely. I won tons of games versus Orcus with a combination of El Shaddoll Winda and Chaos Hunter. That's like the 1-2 punch, and they can just literally not play through those 2 cards. And Chaos Hunter is bigger than Dingirsu, which is actually kind of nice, because it means that not Dingirsu, Long Girsu. It means so Long Girsu cannot attack over Hunter, which actually came up once. Next up, we have Banner Wrestler Pankratops. Some more great removal. I would slide this in basically whenever I slide out Phantasme. So I played like Draco and Evil Eye, which was not really extra deck heavy deck. So I would slide out Phantasme, slide in these cards just to get a few extra pops on. help out some floodgates or some like the Evil Eye equip spell. Next up, we had 3 copies of Nibiru. This is mostly here for Salamangreat, but I also only played Salamangreat once all weekend. I did resolve it reverse Salamangreat once in game 3, ended up winning the match, and then I also used it against Pendulums, actually. I had the Ash to Ash their Servant, and then I was able to resolve Nibiru later on after they Pendulum summoned 4, I believe. And then I have 3 copies of Cosmic Cyclone. I think with how much Orcus was just running around the meta, Cosmic Cyclone was just a better option than Twin Twister, since this would be able to force out the Crescendo, because they can't risk letting that get banished. So just a guaranteed way to force Crescendo, and it still works to just, if it forces anything to gate, it forces Roar, it forces Rage, forces Crescendo, it forces anything, because the alternative is losing it. So it's just really good to have. Then the last card in my side deck, one of the best cards all weekend, was System Down. This card just absolutely ripped Orcus and Striker apart. So many. I sided in this card, I believe 7 times, and I'm pretty sure I resolved it like 6 times. I was just drawing this card like crazy all weekend, and it was absolutely absurd. Versus Orcus, they would just stack their entire graveyard, and I would just, they'd pass turn, I'd System Down them. They'd sit there and look at their hand for a minute. They'd look at their field, look at their graveyard, and then just scoop it up because they've just gone through all the resources in that one turn, and then losing it all is just basically an auto loss already. So this System Down is absolutely insane for me. But that was that's been my my Go Second Shaddoll ABC deck list. I don't know. I have like 2 months off. I don't know. My next YCS is probably Vegas, so I don't know. I have no idea what I'll be playing then. Even ABC obviously, but what variant is unsure. But I don't know. I'll keep posting some more regular content, working with some new Go First ABC combo videos now that Union Carrier's out and Gazeneck Yada is out. We have so much stuff to explore. If you guys like this video, please sure to drop a like. It really helps me out. If you want to see more of my content, please be sure to hit subscribe. Let me know what you guys think of the deck list in the comments down below. Otherwise, I'll let you thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time.